we are starting with throwing a spotlight on our new online professional diploma in communications and digital PR for enterprise. Aoife Sheehan is our course director and a seasoned digital marketing PR professional and lecturer. With over 10 years of experience in the industry, Aoife brings a wealth of knowledge and expertise to the classroom. Dedicated to imparting her skills to the next generation of professionals, Aoife is passionate about helping others succeed in the fast-paced world of digital PR. Aoife is a creative problem solver and, believe you me, an excellent communicator, and she strives to help her students succeed. Keeping up with industry trends and incorporating the latest technologies into her classes makes the classes both engaging, worthwhile and relevant. So I'm going to hand you over to Aoife. Good afternoon, Aoife.
Thank you, Claire. Thanks. And thanks everyone for joining us here today. So I'm just going to share my slides here right now. Oh God, sorry. No, it's just Murphy's Law here now. Sorry. It's looking to update a driver. I'll just go on now. Sorry, Claire, I'm just having a technical issue here.
That's always the way. Take your time.
Yeah, I'll just go here again.
There you go.
Okay, can you see that now? Sorry, it's asking me to update a driver. So I'm just going to pop into this here now, okay? Slideshow. Okay, sorry about that technical glitch there. Okay, so you can all see my slides here. So what I'm going to take you through today is the Professional Diploma in Communications and in Digital Public Relations. So who is this course for? So first of all, I suppose it's for anyone who aspires to work in this area. You might already be working in the area of, communications and PR. It might be somebody who wants to change tack. You might be in a different industry. You might be currently working in a multinational or a small to medium enterprise, or you might be working on your own. And the resources just mightn't be there to hire someone full-time in this area, but it's something that you're interested in. It's something that you feel that you can add value to your company in, and that you can, you have the interest in, and you want to work in, the area of maybe social media management, content creation, email marketing, and as well as that, I suppose, looking at the all-round area of communication. So whether that be the traditional communication of, your TV, your radio, your print, or else the ever-evolving, changing world of, technology, as we've seen so many advances today. And it's interesting, even I'm looking at, the course that might go ahead in September, saying, you might include X, Y, and Z platforms, but come September, they could be out of date by then. So it's something that we always have to be monitoring, changing. And I think for anybody interested in the space, it's something that, it's a great field and it's a really rewarding one to work in. So as I mentioned, there's some of the areas that, people could be working in currently, the types of industry as well. And I suppose on completion, the learner, when they go away from this, it would hope that they can, excel in this field and really drive on the communication, whatever industry that they're in. Okay. So just looking at the key features and content, I've broken it down into both semesters. So in the autumn semester, we will look at digital PR for enterprise. So I myself will be delivering that module. So that's looking at, enhancing your company's online presence, looking at everything around, the correct platforms to use, the most up-to-date platforms to use for creating, cost-effective content for online and social media, develop a media strategy for your chosen company. So the way you communicate, knowing your audience, knowing what your audience, looks for when they go to you, and how to talk to them as well is very, very important. And I suppose looking as well at the changing nature of people. So before, you know, if you had a problem that you wanted to solve, you might say, oh, look, I'm going to Google it. I'll go to Google, I'll type in my query and I'll search. Whereas now people are really leaning on, you know, social search. So they'll now go to the social media platforms, they'll search there, they'll look for answers to their problems there. So a typical example for that might be if you're doing like a house renovation, then instead of Googling something now, you'll actually go on to the likes of a Facebook group and you'll type in, right, have people been having a discussion around this? And, you know, they find that it's a lot more, I suppose, relevant and maybe informative place to find some answers that they're looking for. Digital PR or as well, so gain a proficiency in using the appropriate technologies for online communication. So that really ties in all of the online aspects, you know, the platforms that you can go to, and looking at the online side of things. Information design will be delivered by Elaine. So building on like your content creation, this kind of delves deeper into it, you know, understanding the information or the key aspects of information design, looking at your color, typography, and how important that is as well in the overall aesthetic of your messaging and your brand. Information design theories. And then later on, you're looking at, you know, designing a website, positioning your brand online. You know, we see a lot of companies nowadays, they say, sure, look, I have a social media channel. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, all my audience is hanging out there. But we've seen when the switch goes off and there might be a blackout, whether it's Instagram was down Sunday night for a while and there's panic on other channels saying what's going on. So, you know, you need to be thinking about that as well with your brand and having that presence. So having a website is really important. Then in the spring, we'll be looking at identifying communication strategies. So that really centers around your legacy media. So understanding how to get your event into the news, you know, and it might be simple to some people, but for others, it's you know, it's a real head scratching exercise of, I have an event, it's coming up next month, but how do I actually, you know, build a buzz around it in the lead up, get people to know that it's on, and then create a buzz afterwards of saying, look at the great event I had, and you know, and all this went on around it. So it's developing a clear strategy around that, and just to get that going. Media literacy as well, I think, is something that is so important. Sorry, now just after flying out of that, is so important to learn to critically read and analyze, you know, various forms of media. There's so much, you know, around misinformation, disinformation, fake news, and everything like that. So it's important for people to be critically aware of how to, you know, understand that and understand where that lies as well in the landscape. So that's a real, you know, overview of the key features in the content. There'll be a portfolio 1 and portfolio 2 then that goes across both semesters that the learner will be looking at. It's a hands-on learning experience as well. I suppose, look, what will happen is the learner will engage in real life scenarios, you know, workshops, case studies. We'll be bringing in industry experts. And I see some of them are on the call as well today, and just to help us to guide and shape, you know, what's practically going on the ground as well and what's happening in industry, and they'll provide, you know, real life situations for us. There's no exam in this, so it's, you know, it's very practical, and it will ensure that once the learner goes away, they'll be able to apply the skills and the knowledge and the expertise and everything that they have. They'll be able to apply it in real world scenarios and be able to go back to their chosen companies or their companies that they're working in and be able to apply everything that they've learned, which will be great for them. Just some of the technology, and as I mentioned, this could work now, but in 3 or 4 months' time, we might say, right, actually scrap that. We'll use something else that might be more useful. Canva is a great cost-effective one for content creation, for, you know, you can build websites and everything on Canva now, so that's always great. So you have your analytics, MailChimp for email marketing, and I've included just some other ones there as well, the likes of InShot for mobile phone, video content creation and things like that just help, I suppose, keep costs down. So just depending as well on where the learner is coming from. They might be coming from a large multinational where costs mightn't be as important as maybe somebody who is after setting up their own company and want to just manage their own messaging and their own outputs and want to keep costs down as well. So we'll cater for that. The course, then just the demands of the course. I know it's always important when somebody's about to sign up for something, they want to know, right, I have a busy lifestyle, a busy work day. What's this going to mean for me? How is it going to look? So we're thinking the start date will be around September 18th. It'll have an introduction week, a 6-week course. Each week there will be 1 hour asynchronous. So you can dial in on your own terms when it suits you, when you get a bit of downtime, and listen to and watch some content which might look like 3 15-minute videos, 10-minute videos that you'll be able to digest yourself and look at it in your own time. Then we will always have a live hour per week, and then 1 to 2 hours of, you know, your own work, which will be you, you know, reading some maybe academic work and also doing your own assignments that we will have gone through in class, and then you go and apply it to either real world scenarios and things like that. And at the end, I suppose the main thing is the learner will go away with a portfolio that they can then draw on and use the skills and knowledge that they have learned to apply it to the real world in their own workplace. So Claire, that I suppose is a very quick whistle-stop tour of what the PT, PD and communications and digital PR will look like, and I hope it has, you know, given some insight into, you know, what it'll look like in September.
Brilliant. Aoife, thank you so much. That was so comprehensive. As a Marcoms professional myself, I'm really enthused by this programme. We know right across the comms sphere, regardless of where you sit or what role you occupy, if you sit still for too long, your skills become rusty. It's so important to stay ahead of that curve and make sure you're up to date, especially in kind of embracing technology, and the various different platforms that are used and the software programs that are used on this program definitely will respond to that call to make you a sharper professional. I've made a note, Aoife, around communication skills are an assumed skill sometimes in industry, but it's actually the good to great story that we're trying to appeal to here. It's, you know, having a baseline of communication skills is one thing, but having sharpened communication skills and knowledge is really elevating your position in your workplace and also for your career trajectory. So that's fantastic. Just also coming back to what you were saying about those real skills, developing out that portfolio. And I suppose if someone were to go cap in hand to their employer and say, you know, I'm really interested in doing this professional diploma in autumn, it's, you know, how does this benefit that employer? How does it benefit the industry that they're in? So having that portfolio, that body of work that you can fall back on to say, this is all that I've learned and these are all the key takeaways. You know, that's the true difference, I would say. So I just wanted to ask you,
just in that instance as well, like, you know, we'd ask the learner probably to base their company, you know, use that as their, you know, their company of choice throughout what they're doing, so that, you know, they can go back to work even weekly and say, listen, I have an idea, or we've discussed this in class. And that's where I suppose that on the 1 hour online each week, you know, there's great peer-to-peer learning, and often somebody could be from a completely different industry in the class, but you can get different ideas then from those industries that you wouldn't normally get if you know, you don't do a course like this, which I always find fascinating as well. They could be from completely different spheres, but once they're in a room together and they start discussing ideas, you can find that there's a lot of similarities and things that they can kind of really gain from each other.
Yes, absolutely. That kind of transdisciplinary opportunity is fantastic. Just one question, actually, if you don't mind, or two, actually. I'm going to put into two, but I'm conscious of our time. Would you mind giving us an example of an activity that you'd set for learners on this programme?
Yeah, so maybe like a sample activity, Claire, might be at the very beginning of the course, right? You might say, okay, let's look at we would do a bit of work on social campaigns, whatever. If we're looking at our first one, to go and analyze what you know, an organization might have done around an event, their social media campaign around it. So to look at you know, what they did good, what were their strengths, their weaknesses, and then, you know, what could they have done better? Did it land right? Did it hit the right tones? Was it, you know, did it get picked up in other media? Was it picked up in any legacy media or things like that? So they'd apply then their learning. So they'd be looking at this, looking for, I suppose, how to be critical around it. And then when they go about doing their own, and when they go about, I suppose, creating their own media plan, they have all this in their mind then of, right, this is what didn't work for such and such an organization. You know, how can I implement my own plan in a way that it will land for me? And it just gets them thinking. And often it's when they kind of go outside their own industries as well and analyze, you know, what's going on, that, you know, they do get great ideas from it. So it's just interesting. That would be just a quick example of something they could do at the beginning of the course.
Fantastic. Okay, that's great. So it's, you know, again, going back to what those key takeaways are they're more meaningful because you're able to apply them to your own situation, your own role, and your own industry. So it's great that that opportunity presents itself on this programme. Last question, is there a bite-sized option available if someone weren't able to commit to, say, a professional diploma, but they were interested in dipping their toes in before making that bigger commitment?
Yeah, so we have some micro credentials, Claire. So the two that we have here are the digital PR for enterprise and the identifying communication strategies for enterprise as well. So people can just, either do one or both of those if they want, just to do a kind of a pick and mix option.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much.